Hey guys, today I'm doing iready reading. Let's go.
What do Jeanie's thoughts reveal about his relationship with his brother, Ernie? How do Ernie's actions in the car affect Jeanie? Tap the sentence that describes Jeanie's position in the car. Ernie is stretched out on the back seat as if it were his own personal couch, forcing Jeanie to be smushed. The words, as if it were his own personal couch, and forcing, show that Jeanie is annoyed. Tap the sentences that tell what Jeanie wants to do to Ernie. Jeanie thinks about playing a game that would purposely annoy Ernie, but he realizes that Ernie wouldn't get annoyed by it because he is asleep. The words nasty snores show Jeanie's point of view, or his feelings about Ernie. What does Jeanie's notebook reveal about him?
He, your,
They're like weasels or something, but tougher. Know what I'm saying? Like, they're small, but they ain't scared to get busy, even on lions. Jeanie had rambled. The fact that his parents had neither asked him about honey badgers or even knew why he cared about them in the first place never stopped him from offering up random info at random times. That was sort of his thing. He was different from Ernie in that way. Jeanie was the kind of kid who kept a small jacked-up notebook and pen in his pocket, just so that he could jot down interesting things whenever they came. The point was to keep a list, a numbered list, of all the things he needed to Google, because to Jeanie, the more questions you had, the more answers you could find. And the more answers you found, the more you knew. And the more you knew, the less you made mistakes. Jeanie wasn't about mistakes.
What do the details reveal about Jeanie's point of view toward information?
Jeanie prefers information, animals, other facts. Jeanie likes information because it makes him organized. Jeanie values information because it helps him be prepared.
Ernie, on the other hand, was the kind of kid who wore sunglasses 24/7 just to make sure everybody knew he was cool. And to him, the biggest mistake anyone could make was not to be. That and not being able to defend yourself. As a matter of fact, one of the only times Ernie didn't wear his shades was whenever he was doing karate, which he'd been learning since he was 7. He was a brown belt, or as he put it, a junior black belt. Jeanie loved to watch Ernie's matches and tournaments, but not quite as much as he loved to watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
What is important to Ernie?
Looking.
Son, tell me something. Dad darted his exhausted-looking eyes from the rear view back to the road. How much you know about sloths? Uh-huh, Dad said flat. He glanced back in the mirror. See where I'm going with this? Jeanie sucked his teeth again. He knew exactly where Dad was going with it. Straight to, Jeanie, please be quiet and go to sleep town.
Which other detail reveals Jeanie's point of view toward Dad? Grandpop, an excerpt from As Brave as You by Jason Reynolds. Read carefully. You only get one try to answer each question.
The boys and their mother followed the smell of food down the shaky wooden steps to the kitchen doorway. Grandma was standing over the stove, flipping bacon with a fork. The grease popped every time she poked the bacon, but she never flinched. An old man, Grandpop, sat at the round kitchen table. He had on a white dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up and, like Ernie, dark sunglasses. His face had that look old men get when they'd shaved the day before and the beard was just starting to grow back, white specks of dust all over his cheeks.
What does the underlined sentence reveal about Grandma?
Grandma is not affected by the storm. Grandma is not afraid of the hot breeze getting on her.
"Come in here and say hi to your grandfather," Grandma said, setting the fork on the counter and stirring something in a copper pot. She nodded to Jeanie, then at the empty chair to the right of the old man for Jeanie to sit in. Ernie sat in the one across from him. Ma sat next to Ernie, completing the circle. Ernie, the almost birthday boy. Grandpop grinned, holding out a huge hand. "Been a month of Sundays, son. Long time no see." Jeanie wasn't sure what a month of Sundays meant, but figured Ernie must have known because he reached a hand out and gave Grandpop a 5.
What kind of person is Grandpop?
Grandpa is also friendly when he gives them
Ernie nudged Jeanie, urging him to speak. "Hi," Jeanie said softly. "Jeanie." Grandpop put out his hand again. "Nice to finally meet you." Jeanie went to give him 5, but Grandpop caught his hand, clamped down on it like a mousetrap on a mouse, and shook it hard and tight. Tight enough to make one of Jeanie's eyes close up. Tight enough to almost make him ask, "What's your problem?" The first one is always like this. Grandpop leaned in close enough for Jeanie to smell him, a mix of sweet and sweat, and lowered his voice almost to a whisper. "But now that we know each other, all the rest'll be 5s. Then he grinned big.
Which other detail shows Jeanie's feelings about Grandpop?
Jeanie wants to. Jeanie will.
"Leave that boy alone, Brooke," Grandma said, slapping the old man on the shoulder, setting a plate full of breakfast food in front of him.
What is Jeanie's attitude about breakfast? Jeanie thinks the white...
Jeanie stuck his fork into the white slime and hoped it didn't taste like peas. Peas were the one thing that he hated to eat more than anything. This stuff wasn't green, so that was a good sign. He let the gritty goo slip between the tines of the fork and plop back down onto his plate. He looked at his brother. Ernie seemed just as worried, but lifted the fork straight into his mouth and tasted it anyway. Ernie was brave like that. He made a face like the white stuff, the grits, was good, so Jeanie tried it too.
How do Jeanie's actions show his feelings for Ernie?
Jeanie watches Ernie progress and Jeanie eats the grits because he trusts his brother.
Tastes like sand, Jeanie blurted out, not quite wanting to spit it out, but not wanting to swallow it either. He just wanted to let it sit there in his mouth until it dissolved. Sand? Grandpop said, looking amused. Well, I got something for that. He pushed his chair back just as Grandma finally sat down and went over to the counter where there were 3 coffee cans. Popping the top off the middle one, he stuck his fingers in it, then closed it back up. He returned to the table and sprinkled something on top of Jeanie's grits. Try now. Try now. What was that? Jeanie asked, worried. Magic dust. Grandpop grinned, a little less creepy this time, and sat back down. Try it. Jeanie picked his fork up and touched it to his tongue, just enough to taste. Sugar! And yeah, now the grits were so much better.
How have Jeanie's feelings about Grandpop changed since the beginning of the story?
Math in the Real World by Kristen Russo.
You're in the middle of math class when someone asks, "Will we ever use this in real life?" It's a reasonable question, and the answer just might surprise you. You already use math in everyday situations. Let's say you want to buy a snack at the corner store before catching the 3 o'clock bus downtown on Saturday. To avoid missing the bus, you'll need to quickly estimate the distance between the store and the bus stop and the time it takes to walk there from the store. These estimations will help you know how long you can stay in the store. Scenarios like these occur constantly in our daily lives, and we often rely on math to navigate them, especially when we need to be somewhere on time and we're hungry.
Reread the sentence from the passage. Finish breaking the sentence into 3 separate ideas.
This is all for today. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Bye-bye.